So I have a monthly wrap-up for you. First one I read this month was Spirit Bound by Rochelle Mead, and this is the 5th book in the Vampire Academy series. This is just an amazing series, and I have yet to dislike any of the books, so definitely check this series out. I give the books usually about 5 stars, every single one of them, so loved this book. So many emotions. Oh my gosh. The next book that I read in February was Always the Baker, Never the Bride by Sandra D. Bricker, and this is an adult contemporary romance, and I actually read this for a book club. But this book is about a girl named Emma who's a baker, hence the name of the book, and she's actually diabetic, so she can't really eat her own creation. She can only take like a couple bites. So I thought that was really interesting. So there's this new hotel called the Tanglewood opening up in her town, and she ends up scoring a job there because the hotel is basically going to be like a wedding hotel, and they have a wedding planner that works there. Emma's the baker to bake the cakes for all these events, and then the owner of the Tanglewood and Emma sort of become closer, and that's where the romance comes from. Basically, it's just an adorable book. It's squeaky clean. It's actually a Christian book, which it doesn't talk a whole lot about God or anything like that, but it does a little bit, not enough to bother you if you're not a Christian. But it was so good, and every time I put this book down, I found myself wanting to pick it right back up to see what would happen. Even though it was a little predictable, I still just wanted to get lost in the story. I really just loved the world of this book because it was just so rich with Southern charm, and it was just great. It was really good. It was a lot better than I expected, and I think I gave it 4.5 stars. I could be wrong. I always forget what I rate my books on Goodreads. The next book I read was on my Kindle, and it was Going Vintage by Lindsay Leavitt. Most of you know that I did a full review on this, but if you did not know, I will link that down below. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here just because I have already talked so much about it, but I just absolutely loved this book, basically, if you didn't see my review. Fell in love with it completely, with the characters, with the plot, just everything. So definitely check out this book. I would highly recommend it to you. Something really cool, actually, I tweeted about my video review on Twitter, and Lindsay Leavitt replied to me and also retweeted my tweet, which I thought was really exciting. And then not only that, but the editor who worked on Going Vintage, which was published by Bloomsbury Children's Books, she actually followed me on Twitter. So, and she also thanked me for the great review, so it was just really an exciting time for me. I just love Twitter because you can connect with so many people and talk to people you wouldn't normally talk to, and it's just really cool. The next book that I read was also on my Kindle, and it was Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. This was really good. I don't think I like it as much as most people do, though. A lot of people say it's one of their favorite books, one of their favorite YA books, whatever. I didn't really feel that way necessarily. It was kind of weird for me, but I'm not saying it was bad weird. It was just different. And there was a lot of things that still didn't make sense to me after the book was finished, and this is a standalone novel, so I was kind of confused about some things. I don't like it when I have unanswered questions with books usually, so I don't know. Oh, I forgot to tell you the synopsis. This is about a zombie named R, and he comes across this human girl and decides to save her instead of eat her, but he ends up eating the brains of this girl's boyfriend, and memories and feelings start to come back to him that were this girl's boyfriend's memories and feelings. So yeah, that was a crappy synopsis, but it's the best I could do. So yeah, I gave this book, I think, 3.5 stars. Again, I can't remember the ratings, but it was really, it was really enjoyable, and I did find myself wanting to know what was going to happen, but I just can't say it's one of my all-time favorites or anything. I am still excited to see the movie, though, just to see how they portray the book, and I like Nicholas Hoult. So yeah, I'm definitely still looking forward to seeing the movie. Next book I read was The Scorch Trials by James Dashner. This is the sequel to The Maze Runner. If you don't know what the Maze Runner series is about, it is about a group of boys who live in a maze, and they have to try to escape, basically. I don't want to give too much away, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I have so many mixed feelings about this book and this series because the writing can sort of be repetitive, and that irks me. It's not that the writing style is terrible, but it's just like like I said, just very repetitive. So it really makes for a rough start, I think. Getting into this book takes a long time, and I said the same thing about the first book in the series. It just, for some reason, it's like a rough patch getting into it. But then once you finally get at least halfway through, then you start to think, okay, this is really getting good, and I cannot put this down. Like, I stayed up until 3 or 4 in the morning one night finishing this. Even though some things do get on my nerves, I still really like these books, so I would recommend them. The last book that I read this month was the first book in the Pretty Little Liars series. Finally, I've been wanting to get my hands on this pretty much since the show came out. Maybe even before that. It was good, it was enjoyable. I ended up giving it 3 stars because number one, it's just not as good as the show. And it was really weird because one book was like 1 episode, which I was thinking it would not be that way. I was thinking that there would be more in the book. That's really all I can say, is that it was just enjoyable, and I am going to continue with the series, but I wasn't blown away by it or anything. So I've read Sarah Shepard's books before, and that's just kind of how it is. I hate to say that. It's like the plot is a lot better than the writing. So, not that she's a bad writer, but, you know, it's just my opinion. So I started reading Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor, and I was really hoping I could finish this before my wrap-up, but this is the last day of February, and I'm only this far in, so there's no way I'm going to finish this by tonight. But it is really good so far, but that'll be in my next month's wrap-up. So that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Once you get due. Please. Okay. I don't know. It's, and it really makes for it, okay. I actually read 6 books. This 6 is the 5th?